Well, hello and welcome to this week's episode of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. I'm your host, Chris Greene, Director of Network Expansion. And thank you so much for your time for tuning in today and for engaging with our show on a weekly basis. We've put together a really great show for you today, I think, one that's going to highlight another wonderful partnership for Avoya Travel as we welcome in Marilyn Cairo, Vice President of Global Sales at Karisma Hotels Resorts, for a Meet the Industry segment. We love having these high-profile industry guests like Marilyn join us as they help highlight just how vital a role strategic partnerships play in the best-in-class offerings Avoya Travel has for the Avoya network. And we look forward to welcoming Marilyn to On Deck with Avoya here in just a few minutes. I've also been keeping my keen eye out for the top stories in the travel industry this week. I think I've found a few that are worthy of highlighting, including news that the long-awaited high-speed train service between Orlando and South Florida is about to become a reality, like tickets on sale reality. We'll have all of those exciting details. Princess Cruises is introducing a series of sailings in 2024 that will highlight colonial American history, just in time for the 250th anniversary of the Revolutionary War. And the Avoya Travel Trophy Case gets another prized possession. We'll highlight the big win for Avoya Travel from last week's Travel Leaders Network Conference in Nashville, Tennessee. All of those stories here in just a moment in our Eye on the Industry feature. We'll wrap up our show highlighting our current promotions to affiliate. One of those offers is about to expire, so you don't want to sleep on that. We'll touch base on new to the travel industry education with information on the travel agent education powered by Avoya platform. Spend a moment or two talking about best-in-class resources available to those in the Avoya network, and end with all of our contact information to both follow us online so you'll never miss any information we're trying to share, and of course reach out for a real person-to-person chat. But right now, let's kick it off this week's edition of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update, with a few industry insights in our Eye on the Industry feature. In a story we sourced from Travel Weekly, Brightline Orlando tickets are now available to purchase ahead of the high-speed rail service's summer launch between Orlando and South Florida. Very exciting news here. Tickets for the new Orlando service are available for late summer dates through early 2024 and can be purchased online or through the Brightline app. The new Orlando service will connect travelers to South Florida, which includes Miami, Aventura, Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, and West Palm Beach. Brightline will offer one-way $79 smart fares, which is the company's version of an elevated economy class, and $39 for children. Group bookings for or more passengers will automatically save 25% on smart fares. The premium fare, $149, includes a first-class experience, access to the premium lounge at Brightline stations, priority boarding, checked luggage, complimentary snacks and beverages throughout the journey. And I think this has a huge potential for the travel advisor community, as you'll finally have a more convenient way to connect the biggest family destination in the country, right? Orlando and all the theme parks, with two of the biggest cruise ports in the world, plus all that airlift that happens down in Miami and Fort Lauderdale to get to Mexico or the Caribbean. So we're going to continue to follow this story. Also from Travel Weekly, Princess Cruises will sail a new series of round-trip cruises focused on U.S. colonial history in the summer of 2024. The round-trip sailings out of New York include visits to colonial towns ahead of the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution, which began in 1775. The itineraries feature calls in Yorktown, Virginia, Charleston, South Carolina, Boston, as well as Halifax, Nova Scotia in Canada. Princess says it's the first major cruise line to call in Yorktown, the site of the final battle of the American Revolution. Nearby are Colonial Williamsburg and Jamestown, which also have historical significance in America's early history. The line will sail 3 10 and 11-day colonial heritage itineraries in June of 2024, and the sailings are open to book starting on May 25th. They're also going to offer a 7-night land tour for guests to visit the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C., Thomas Jefferson's Monticello Estate, Colonial Williamsburg, Independence Hall in Philadelphia, and the Gettysburg Battlefield. And finally, please forgive us for bragging on our own amazing self. And we are pretty amazing, if I do say so myself. But the trophy case at Avoya Travel is making room for one more piece of exciting hardware. Avoya Travel, one of the travel industry's most innovative brands, was just honored with the 2023 Travel Leaders Network Affiliate New Agency of the Year Award at the annual EDGE Conference in Nashville, Tennessee. The prestigious new Agency of the Year Award recognizes the top new affiliate member to join the Travel Leaders Network and underscores the immediate impact Avoya has had since affiliating with TLN back in September of 2022. We're beyond thrilled that Avoya Travel has chosen to affiliate with Travel Leaders Network and proud to present them with the 2023 Travel Leaders Network New Agency of the Year Award, said Roger Block, president of Travel Leaders Network. The award is one of our highest honors and recognizes the engagement, passion, and hard work Avoya has put into embracing our programs and ensuring the mutual success of our partnership. Their innovation and commitment to excellence are already proving to be invaluable to the network. From our co-CEO, Jeff Anderson, Avoya Travel is deeply honored to receive the 2023 Travel Leaders Network New Agency of the Year Award. We believe we found the perfect fit for Avoya with Travel Leaders Network and are excited about the continued growth and success our affiliation will bring. All I can say is go Team Avoya. Okay, time to transition to our great weekly question and answer segment, where we get a chance to know more about an amazing member of the travel industry community. Today, we're so lucky and honored to have a representative of one of the most prestigious hotel and resort brands in the world, Karisma Hotel and Resorts. Since my earliest days of selling leisure travel, Karisma is a name I've grown to appreciate and trust, and we're honored to have such an amazing relationship with them here at Avoya Travel. We're excited to spotlight what is new with the brand, how you can sell it more effectively, as well as highlight another great partnership in the Avoya Travel portfolio. So please help me in welcoming in our featured guest today for our Meet the Industry segment, Marilyn Cairo, Vice President of Global Sales at Karisma Hotel and Resorts. Marilyn, we're so excited to have you as our special guest today at On Deck with Avoya.
Thank you, Chris. I'm excited to be here. Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Marilyn, before we jump into our main topics, can you fill our audience in a bit on your background in the travel industry and how you ended up becoming the Vice President of Global Sales at Karisma?
You're going to make me reveal my age. So I actually came into the industry right out of high school in 1991. Did not think it would be a long-term career path. I was actually in school for psychology. But I think that actually helps in a bit, right? Working in the travel industry, you do need a bit of psychology and people skills. Long story short, what started off as a temporary job at a company called Ramada Renaissance, that's old timer right there. Jumped from there to Sandals and Beaches, was there for about 11 years, then moved over to Malia, and then now the last 6 years I've been at Karisma. The entire career that I've had in the industry has always been working with travel agents. So for me, it's a great, I don't know if the word is honor or joy, just to see so many familiar faces throughout the years, but also recently, I would say in the last 8 years, to see new agents coming into the market. Not because they're young, not because they're looking for a new career, but just new agents that are now interested in the travel industry, which is really showing our worth as an industry and our vast reach within the market.
No doubt about that. As a follow-up, at what point in your life, Marilyn, did travel kind of become an important aspect? Did you grow up with travel as a priority, or when did that happen?
I did not. I actually had my first plane trip at age 18. So for us growing up, vacations, you drove to your vacation. You did not fly to your vacation. It became a priority for me, I want to say right around, I was about 28 years old. And it took a while because at first I was just looking at it as a means to put food on the table, right? You have a job, you're doing the best you can. It did not resonate with me how important travel was to me personally until right about that age 28. And then travel is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity for many. And I'll speak, I have a son who's 30 years old. His annual spend on travel is budgeted. He says, Mom, I'm taking X number of trips, and it's a necessity in their view because it's part of your DNA now. Not because he grew up in this industry, but because he prioritizes those experiences a lot more. And I'm sure it'll resonate with many of those on the line as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people involved in the travel industry have felt that shift that's happened, a fundamental shift in people's minds where it used to be about things, right? That's why Amazon went crazy at the beginning of the pandemic, but now it's more shifted towards experiences versus stuff. And hopefully that's here to stay. Don't you agree?
I really do hope it is. I really think it is. We've seen a lot of new players. Chris, you've probably seen a lot of new companies investing in the retail space, wanting to spend more money to attract travel agents. where before they depended on the consumer direct model. Now they realize that there is a value in that travel professional because of the book of business that they bring. And I have to say, I've grown up in this industry with travel agents. I've never known not seeing a value in a travel agent. To me, it's, how do you not invest in that space? How do you not invest in that resource that's there in so many different facets, from host accounts, consortia, independents? It's huge.
Absolutely. Your answer sparked a question for me, Marilyn. I mean, working with travel agents so directly for so many years, can we honestly say that relationship can make a difference for the end user, for the client?
Chris, if this business is only about relationships, I can have the best product in the world. I can have a 5-star product, but if I don't know who to call, who to reach, who the movers and the shakers are, and guess what? Who can I call and say, hey, I need a favor? And that's where relationships are built. Relationships aren't built just because you gave me 100 room nights a year. What are you doing to try and help me help you? I can't tell you, some of my biggest success stories started off with 5 bookings a year. And little by little, you carve away, you build that relationship through good times, through bad times. I'm a huge proponent of, how can I help you? And at one point, I believe in karma. Call me crazy. I believe in karma, and it's going to come back to us in some way, shape, or form. But if we don't help each other, there's nobody that's going to help us. You have to help each other out, and that's by building partnerships.
I mean, there's our bingo moment. First one of the interview. Fantastic. Couldn't have said it better myself. So let's talk about the amazing product, Karisma Resorts, and how, as a company, you see them maybe positioned versus some of your main competitors, with a little bit of a brief overview.
It took me a minute when I joined the company 6 years ago to understand our ecosystem. Because first of all, there is no hotel out there that's called a Karisma Hotel. We represent what today is known as a variety of brands. The company started off with the El Dorado Spa Resorts, built that brand for 20 years. That partnership is over 20 years now. Then somewhere along the line, we added the Azul brand. Then after that came Nickelodeon. Talk about a powerhouse brand. That was the first time that we stepped our foot into that B2C market, a consumer recognized brand that agents wouldn't have to work too hard to sell because the brand is recognized, much along the lines of, my competitor down the street or a Walt Disney World. So Nickelodeon was the turning point for us. And then 3 years ago, we added a new consumer brand with Margaritaville Island Reserve. And if you don't know Margaritaville, you've for sure used the excuse of it's 5 o'clock somewhere to have a drink at 8 a.m. at an airport, if not earlier. So at somewhere along the line, that brand resonates with you in one way or the other. So for me, I actually think it's a selling feature for us, the fact that we've got B2B brands in El Dorado and Azul, and then B2C brands with Nickelodeon and Margaritaville. So it took me a minute, but then I realized there's value in that because I'm not a one-trick pony. I'm not a one-size-fits-all. I have a different brand, a different hotel for every single agent out there.
And you know what? Sometimes multiple brands might resonate with the same family too, right? For the end consumer. I mean, one trip, I might want to take the little ones, or a multi-generational, where something like the Nickelodeon makes sense to everybody. And sometimes I just want to be me and my wife, and we want to get away. And so it's nice to have that variety, I would think.
It is. And we've got, obviously adult only resorts with the El Dorado. We've got adult only resorts within the Margaritaville brand. And then of course, family, like Nickelodeon. Nothing else needs to be said in that case, because it's a brand that resonates with that family demographic. But even Margaritaville has a family concept to it. They are a family brand. It's about clean fun when you're on property, and they call the kids parakeets because affectionately, the fans of Margaritaville are called parrot heads. So of course, these parrot heads went off and had kids, which we call parakeets. So believe it or not, there's something for everyone. I always even joke, if you have, they want to bear it all, we've got a clothing optional resort that's tucked away, hidden in Mexico, very secluded. So when I go out on the road, when I go to events, Chris, one of the things that I tell my sales team to this, stand proud because you've got a bag of tricks, if you will, that's going to cater to somebody that you're talking to. And guess what? I don't need everybody to like every single one of my brands. but there's something in there for you that is definitely going to resonate.
What about when you look to the future, Marilyn? Any exciting plans for new growth within the Karisma Hotel and Resorts brand that you might be able to share with us today?
Yes, we are actually opening up an additional Nickelodeon resort in 2024, which is right around the corner. I can't say the destination just yet. And we are opening up another Margaritaville in Roatan. So that's really exciting for us. In terms of new, this is still, for me, it's still new. March 15th, we opened up a Margaritaville in Belize on Ambergris Cay. So for us as a company, even that was a new destination. So we are definitely growing. We want to be known more than just a hotel chain in Mexico. We're expanding in the Dominican, into Belize, Roatan in 2 years. So definitely there is growth. And we want to focus in on those consumer-driven brands, mainly because we know it'll help that sale close a little easier for the travel agents that we've got under our network.
So talking about selling and selling a little bit easier, Marilyn, if I was new to selling your brand, are there a couple of few practical tips that you could share with us or share with me that would help me close more sales for Karisma?
We use this in seminars all the time, Chris, because it's overwhelming, right? We've got agents sitting with us for 3 hours. We're inundating them with information. And I always wrap it up by saying, where do you start? And I always say, start with 3 hotels. Pick 3 out of everything we just showed you and focus in on those. Pick them because it appealed to you. Maybe you want to go see them. Maybe you've seen them. And now having this additional training might help. I always say easiest is start with an El Dorado because that's the adult-only brand. It is authentic Mexican experience. Heck, the hotels are owned by a Mexican couple. It doesn't get more authentic than that. It's an adults-only experience. Then you're going to want to have a Nickelodeon. Get to know the one in Riviera Maya or Dominican Republic because you're going to want to have that family experience. And then last, where are you sending your bachelors, your bachelorettes, your empty nesters that are just excited the kids are gone? Where are you going to send them? That's where we go Margaritaville. Perfect for social groups, getaways, weddings that don't want to be so fancy. They want to be more footloose and fancy free, toes in the sand, Margaritaville. Pick one of each. That's very easy because if you start with wanting to understand the entire portfolio, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, and that really fits in line with Avoya Travel's philosophy that specialization is a fantastic way to really boost everything that you're doing. As you said, you can't know everything about everything, but you can be smart enough to know a lot about, a few digestible kind of things. So that really fits hand in hand with our philosophy as well. I have to ask, do you have a favorite resort, or because you're the VP and much like kids, you have to try and love them all the same?
No, I don't love them all the same. I don't. I'm one of those. I'm very, very, very honest with that. I'm going to tell, it all depends, like you mentioned earlier, what mood am I in, right? What vacation style am I going with? So I'll give you a little bit of a tour. I actually have a son who I mentioned, he's 30 now. He's getting married in a couple of months. And his future wife, she's a doll. She wants to go away on a bachelorette trip. And she's like, where should I go? Immediately, I planned something for her at Margaritaville. It was ideal between, we're having a s'mores party, floating taco bar, swim ups, just, fun, karaoke, perfect, right? Margaritaville for me, if I want to get away with my sister, groups of friends, or even my husband, I love the Margaritaville brand. It's relaxed. It is what you want it to be. So you can socialize or you can kind of do something on your own. Now, with my family, I love Nickelodeon Riviera Maya. I absolutely adore it. It is gorgeous. First of all, it is 5-star luxury. Why do I say for a family? If these travel professionals, this is going to really sink in with them. The suites are all ocean views with a swim up, every single one. And they're all for families of 5. So you've got space, you've got comfort. I'm a family of 5. So for me, it resonates. The water park is so much fun. I don't care how old you are. A water park at any age is a good time. Lazy river, action river. And I'm sorry, I can't tell you how many agents have said, I really don't care about the characters. BS. They're the first ones lined up when a turtle pops out or SpongeBob himself. So please spare me the holier than thou. So those are my 2 favorites between Margaritaville, Riviera Cancun, and Nickelodeon Riviera Maya. I absolutely love them. And my third one, because I have 3 kids, so I always pick that third child, is Margaritaville in Cap Cana, which is a very secluded area of the DR. Love it.
Sounds like a pretty good 1, 2, 3 punch, if you ask me.
Yeah, there you go. 1, 2, 3.
Marilyn Cairo, Vice President of Global Sales at Karisma Hotel and Resorts, is our featured Meet the Industry guest today for On Deck with Avoya. Marilyn, one of the reasons we love having high-profile guests like yourself on our show is it really highlights just how important strategic relationships can be between various brands here in the travel industry. On top of the power of relationships between a travel advisor and their particular representative as a resort, how does Karisma Resorts kind of view the importance of strategic partnerships with a company like Avoya Travel in the overall picture?
So I actually met Mickey right before the pandemic, right? And it's a very funny story how we met. And immediately, this just goes to show you the partnership side of it, right? I immediately bonded with Mickey. There was something about his energy and how he described Avoya and the future of the company that was just very attractive to me. And he represented the brand so well that in my mind, I was like, I want more. I want to see what's behind the curtain, right? One thing that Avoya does as a supplier, which I highly value, is they host suppliers at their corporate office once a year. And you literally get to know what's coming up, what's in the pipeline. They pull back that curtain. That's huge because there's no other company out there that lets you into their space to really share that with you. And I think as the agents that are on the line or listening later on, they need to understand what Avoya does to attract quality suppliers, because all of that benefits them in the end. Then you look at all the programs that Avoya has, everything that you guys do to support your base of agents, and how you always include the supplier in it. It's one of my favorite national accounts to work with. And I can't speak enough about Mickey, Miguel, Ashley, everyone that I've ever met at Avoya has been very supportive. And I think that's huge because when agents are looking for a home, they want to make sure that that supplier, that new home, better said, has good relationships with the supplier. And for us, Avoya is at the top of our list. And I do mean this genuinely. I really do.
Well, we certainly appreciate that. Mickey's an amazing person there in strategic partnerships, Miguel, Ashley, the whole team. And so we're really proud of the hard work they do. And we certainly appreciate when they send wonderful guests like yourself our way to be on our show.
They didn't pay me. They didn't pay me.
They're not paying me either. Maybe we need to do something about it. As a follow-up, given all the change in our industry, Marilyn, do you see the travel advisor remaining a vital part of the supply chain as we move even further away from this COVID pandemic?
If you had asked me that question in 2019, I might have said a different answer, but you're asking me this now, and it's not even a question, right? Travel agents, they are important. There's a reason why there's thousands of new agents joining the industry, and it's not about free trips anymore, right? They're starting to realize this is a viable career. There's money to be made in this career because the suppliers have now stepped up to the plate, and they're throwing different bonus structures, commission levels, added values, booking incentives, offers in order to keep travel agents engaged. I cannot tell you how many times internally Karisma has had conversations about, what route do we take? Do we go the travel agent route? Do we go the consumer direct route? The pros and cons when it comes to the travel agents outweighs any consumer path you want to take. So any company out there that veers from supporting travel agent first, you have to have a travel agent first mentality if you're launching a hotel or a brand. And that is the one thing that I will scream from the top of any mountain. If we don't have a travel agent first mentality, I'm out, because without the travel partner, I cannot succeed. I can't implement strategies, set goals, forecast sales, etc. So any answer is, they'd be stupid as a supplier not to take on a travel agent first approach. Absolutely, it's vital.
Marilyn, what about you personally when you get a chance to step away from the office? What kind of things do you like to do for fun?
Oh my God, I'm so boring. My family always catches me napping. First of all, I like to take a nap. But when I'm not napping, and I love food, I love to taste food. I actually have really grown a love affair with escorted tours. I like to be told where we're going. You need to be here. We're going to see this. I love that because, and I realized in my day-to-day world, I'm normally telling, moving the pieces and telling people what to do, where to go. So for once to take a back seat is huge. And just the fact that I really, really did one small private guided experience and I loved it. The other thing is I like cruising. Funny enough, as much as I have all inclusives, at my fingertips, I do like the fact of the cruise experience. So that for me that's what I kind of like to do, aside from my napping, really growing a strong affinity to guided tours.
There is absolutely nothing wrong, and I am officially on the record with this, with a good little bite to eat and then a great little siesta following that, right? I mean, if that's not heaven, I don't know. You and I must be cut from the same cloth, Marilyn.
Yep.
We talked earlier that this new crop of travel agents and advisors coming into our industry is not as focused as maybe sometimes in the past about all the free perks and the trips that you might be able to take. But there's still a pretty nice perk about being in this industry. Any great trips that being part of the travel industry has afforded you to take, or anything on the agenda coming up that you'd share with us?
I'm actually looking forward to hosting our first travel advisory board later this year. And I don't want to give too much away, but that's a trip that I'm looking forward to. Believe it or not, and I'm not saying this, but I look forward to the Avoya trip once a year to get out to your office, because it's a way where my bucket is filled. So how much you know this, Chris, as suppliers, we're always the ones gabbing away, presenting product, right? So be able to be on the learning side of something is really a huge plus for me. And that's kind of like fuel for me to kick off the year. Travel award season, that's a big one for me as well. I enjoy that because it's kind of like that end of the year, we made it. And then our very own agent award, that trip that we do where we recognize our top sellers. I really do look forward to that one as well.
Just a few more questions for you today, Marilyn, before we wrap up. And one, I just want to give you an open forum to communicate with those viewing our show today and offer any advice that you may have that helps them in selling your product, your brands, and just being a better travel advisor overall.
Here's what I'll tell you with Karisma. Number one, check out our website, pick a few hotels. I mentioned this earlier, pick 3. Number 2, reach out to our sales team. And just get to know who we are. And when we're at the Avoya shows, raise your hand and be vocal. I'm not too interested, and I tell my sales team this all the time. I'm not about giving agents a spiel. My thing is, what is interesting to you about Karisma? And let's focus in on that. Because I would rather get you selling 1 or 2 resorts than try and sell you on 15 or 18 of our properties. It's really not. One thing I love about agents is when they walk up to us and ask for our help. How can I do this? How can you do that? Ask me for help, because without you, I don't have an opportunity to succeed. My question that I will always pose back to an agent is, how can I help you? What events do you have coming up that we can partner together with? And I can't tell you how many times asking for help one way or the other has led to some great opportunities, right? Having honest conversations. If we didn't do a good job for your client, then tell me. Don't badmouth me on a social media page. Call me up and say, you guys screwed up, and we want to make it right, because we're not in a perfect society. This, things are going to go wrong, unfortunately, but let's have honest conversations. And what can we gain from that and move forward with? So I really love that transparency, and we try and lead with that in everything we do at Karisma, whether it's good or bad, just have open communication with our agents. And I'm really excited about our new travel advisory board, because it's going to give us a chance to hear from agents that will help us affect change going into the future, especially as the company evolves.
I mean, if you take a couple of things that you said in this conversation and you piece them together, it's really powerful, because you talked about the power of relationships, right? And then you talk about the power of engagement. And when you combine the two, I mean, if I have an issue and I've already created a relationship with my BDM and I reach out to them, man, we can unpack that problem a lot faster than if we haven't created a relationship, and we can get to the heart of the matter. So, have a relationship, and then when you are there, engage. I mean, it seems like a pretty simple, concept, right?
Very simple. And that's something we do in our fam trips. I mean, we've had to increase our fam trips now to 4 nights, because we want time for bonding with the agents. It's not about shuffling through resorts, number of restaurants and rooms. Yeah, that's important. But where's the free time to where I can actually sit by the pool and have a chat with you? Where can we have breakfast? Just have an open conversation. I don't care if it's about your cat, your kids, your cactus. I really don't care. But it's those opportunities that lead to greater moments.
For sure. Marilyn, in the 2.5 years that I've been lucky enough to host this show On Deck with Avoya, I've kind of made it a point to wrap up our show with the exact same question. And it's funny how the answers have changed over the last 2.5 years as everything's been going on. But basically, it's a simple question. Are you excited for the future of leisure travel?
Yes, I am. I'm excited because it's changing. The landscape is changing. The competition's getting tougher, but that actually excites me because we're not going to get stale. There's new product coming out. There's a different way to sell travel. I think agents are becoming more resourceful, more creative. Some of the creativity I've seen, they're actually becoming more vocal. The quality of agents has really grown. I mean, wow, what agents did in the last 3 years, Chris, I don't know if they've ever sat down and looked back and say, I survived. I came out of the other end. I've got stronger partnerships. You know, there was a time there where I thought, do I want to stay in the industry? But I've got too many years invested in. It's like a marriage, right? And you've got to keep chipping away every day. So I am excited about this industry. And that's not even what we have in our pipeline. I want to build relationships. I like talking to people and seeing projects and ideas come to life little by little. So yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Marilyn Cairo, everyone, Vice President of Global Sales for the amazing Karisma Hotel and Resorts. Marilyn, thanks again for your time and that really engaging conversation.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So On Deck with Avoya is going to be taking a couple of weeks off as we attend to some personal matters and celebrate the kickoff of summer with the Memorial Day weekend. We're going to be back in 3 weeks with another great episode, and we're still not ready to unveil our next featured guest, but we'll certainly have that for you as June is in the very near future. Okay, let's quickly highlight some of our promotions, including the big one that is getting ready to wrap up, and that's the affiliate with the Avoya Network for free for a very high-end experienced travel advisor that, again, has been selling at $100,000 or above level for the last couple of years. If you can, have those sales reports that show 100,000 either year to date, 2022, my team's happy to coordinate with you. We'll waive that affiliation fee, but it ends May 31st. So you've got to reach out and start the conversation really soon. AvoyaNetwork.com is the best place to them. The promotion that is ongoing and is not going to be wrapping up at the end of this month. We're very happy with the results. We love our, the members of the military community that have become travel advisors. Again, they're so well disciplined, they're so well traveled, that they really have it all kind of buttoned down. And it's just been a wonderful partnership. So we're continuing our military appreciation promotion with the $100 off the original affiliation fee. Again, AvoyaNetwork.com is the place to get started. My team will be more than happy to get you qualified. Education. Marilyn kind of touched on it here a minute ago in her conversation. Education is the key, right? Learn as much as you can. It's going to make you the expert. It's what's going to differentiate you from the competitors. Travel agent education powered by Avoya is a wonderful way to get that education started. This dynamic and comprehensive travel advisor curriculum. We're only talking 35 to 40 hours of online self-paced lessons. So really, you can whip this out in a couple of weeks if you're dedicated. It includes the TAP tests, the travel agent proficiency exam, and upon completion, free memberships in CLIA and in ASTA. And if you take those CLIA bonus commissions, this thing more than pays for itself. So what are you waiting for? Reach out and start that conversation, because once you finish the education, you can become a member of the network, and then our top flight resources can really take hold for you. Live leads, marketing assets beyond belief. You would not believe what's available in the amazing Avoya Marketing Resource Center. Agency support, pick up the phone 7 days a week, and just fantastic technology. Again, AvoyaNetwork.com is the place to reach out for that. We appreciate your time for tuning in. We hope you take a few minutes to follow us on all the various social media channels at Avoya Travel Network, YouTube. We house all of our shows there. You can find us on LinkedIn and Facebook. We just love sharing information about Avoya Travel. This industry changes and morphs so fast, so it's the best way to kind of stay up on everything. And then again, you can always just reach out to us personally, right? Or to me personally, Chris Greene at avoyatravel.com. That's my email. There's a toll-free number to reach out, avoyanetwork.com. We'd love to hear from you. Again, a big thank you to Marilyn from Karisma for that fantastic conversation. Thank you, Annabella from Trade Marketing, for producing today's show. Thank you for being part of On Deck with Avoya on a continuing basis. We appreciate you more than words could ever say. Until we chat again in 3 weeks, take care, everyone.